Hello and welcome, Neumont University students and beyond. I'm Sky, and I'm bringing you a Splatoon playoffs game today. We have Kutztown, Ma and Order versus the Neumont A team. It's going to be a really interesting set of games here today, as we are getting into this any second now. Just confirming with the captain that I am readied up. Looks like our first map and mode is going to be Splat Zone's Urchin Underpass. For those that might not necessarily be fully caught up on Splatoon, Splat Zones is kind of like a Capture the Hill game mode, except instead of just standing on the hill, you have to paint it. You get down 75% of your paint. It'll paint the entire zone on with your color. If you get under, I think it's 50%, it'll go neutral, and if they get to 25% your color, it'll be all their color. Whoever has it currently counted as their paint will go ahead and start getting points. You get to 100 points, you win the game. If not, goes to time. Whoever has more points at the end will take that as a victory. Again, we should be getting into this any time now. I'm gonna zoom this camera a little bit down. I'm a little bit too short. There we go. That's a lot better. Regardless, I've said that I am ready. We are just waiting for them to start. They sent a message saying starting. There we go. Starting to hear it now. Gonna be really interesting to see how this game goes. Every other game that we've watched so far has been really Neumont favored. Neumont seems to be the favored to win this entire bracket itself. Given that they had a flawless streak throughout all of... I don't remember what you call the pre-playoffs bracket, but they had a flawless winning streak. I believe they went 5-0, 6-0? I cannot remember how many games there were. I'm a little bit out of it. All that being said, still and notwithstanding, looks like all of Neumont is readied up. Just one from Kutztown will ready up, and we will be good to get into this game. We've been seeing... Ooh, never mind. We're getting right into it. Let's go. Time to find out if Neumont is left or right. Looks like they are left. Set up and ready to go. Getting into this, we see a Luna, a Brush, Splatling from Neumont, as well as, again, I keep on forgetting to look up the name of the weapon, but it always escapes me every time. We see an Arrow Spray, we see a Splatling, a Bucket, and some Dualies on their side. That could be a pretty strong comp against how Neumont likes to play. If they can make it work. Looks like Neumont gets 2 down on Kutztown. Neumont immediately takes the point and finds only 1 down on them. Albie finding a nice spot up here. Gonna get ulted and goes down immediately to the stamp there. Over on point, Kutztown has managed to take point. But Neumont immediately comes right back in and flips it. Kutztown flipping it right back. Once again, it is just constant chaos on this point. Both teams having all of their people up, essentially having all of their people up, means that it's hard to keep the point painted on this map. Luna goes in and finds 1. We see a Booyah on point, finding another from Neumont. It's 2 for 2. The Bucket is still on point, but Neumont is essentially 3 down, given they had 1 just respawn. Looks like Kutztown is pushing their Bucket up and forward. They do have a Reef Slider. They can find something with it. Looks like they almost take down the Crab there, trying to paint, but they do go down before they can pop that Reef Slider. Dualies is up and behind, takes down Neumont's Splatling. They also find 3 from Neumont. That's a pretty big play for Kutztown here, as they are trying to just find the Brush. Kutztown manages to get a staggered wipe on Neumont. Neumont trying to find some ground, trying to get back in here, but they do really need to regroup, make sure they don't go down and find a big play here, because if they can't, they will be left in a bad position with 20 points left. They need to find this point. They get 3 down from Kutztown. Not sure what got them it there, but they did manage to take a lot. They do flip the point, getting those grade points on Kutztown. It's called the regular season. Thank you. Getting those grade points on Kutztown. And re-pushing up, trying to find at least a chunk of this lead back from Kutztown. 55 points remaining for Neumont. They do really have a decent margin to move here. Neumont trades 2 for 1 on the left there. Albie trying to loop around and find another, but now it's a 2 for 2 as Neumont goes another down. Our Luna Blaster tries to find something, but cannot quite, as Cutstown uses a triple splash to repaint the zone. We lose control again for a second there, but we do manage to get it back as we try to go up and find something on their dualies, but we cannot quite. Aerospray, sorry. But we cannot quite. Neumont's trying to get some jumps back in, but our Luna Blaster goes down again, as well as Neumont really needs to stop staggering here. Albie jumps back in as well, trying to find someone, trying to fight people. We do manage to take down 3 of them, as we have seemed to recapture and retake this point. Neumont trying to push up and find some good value here. We see the Kraken pop from Albie, immediately trying to push up and find some value off of it, but gets pushed back by the, I believe that is the dualies there. Neumont goes 2 down, as Cutstown retakes the point once again. They are making a dent in these gray points. Neumont cannot let them keep recapturing like this. See triple splat coming out, immediately taking down Neumont's stamp there, as they are just being oppressive. They're taking out Neumont. This is exactly what I wanted to see from a team comp like Cutstown is running. They have a lot of good 1v1 weapons, a lot of good picks, and they are really showing it. They are going forward. They're finding the picks. They are taking these good fights and not really letting Neumont keep the ground that they keep on finding. Neumont repaints once again, putting gray points back onto Cutstown, but their gray point total just keeps shrinking and shrinking, as Neumont isn't putting a dent in their point total at all. Neumont almost gets repainted there, but manages to stop it just in time. Our oh my lord, our splatling goes down. We find 2 on Cutstown, though, as they try to booyah to repaint zone, but they cannot quite find it. I think we're going to see maybe Stamp come out here to try to repaint the zone. It does come out. They do manage to paint it for a second, putting a bunch of gray points back on Neumont. Neumont needs to capture and hold now if they want to find anything here. They do manage to take over the point with a chunk of gray points to get through. They might be able to hold just long enough to get it out from Cutstown, though. Given they have 30 seconds left on the clock, Stamp comes out and manages to take 1 from Cutstown down. They let it ride all the way through, as we see Stamp from Cutstown come out, finding 1 on Neumont, but our Blaster finds 2 on Cutstown. Neumont takes the lead as they find a wipeout on Cutstown right in the last 10 seconds of the game. I believe that will be game for Neumont, with some big plays from that Blaster right at the end. Wonderful plays from both sides. Neumont has shown us a lot that they can make the comeback back. Despite being put down a lot at the start of some of these games we've been seeing recently, they do manage to just find the correct strategy. They don't continue staggering over and over again, and eventually they get to the end. They manage to find their way through these massive disadvantages and find the just everything they're looking for. We saw a lot of close games in the set last time that I casted for Neumont A team. I believe they had 3 or 4. 3. They had 3 sets where they were down the entire set. I believe one of them, Cutstown, was like 10 points away from winning, 20 maybe at most. And in overtime, at the end, they scored 3 clams, bringing them back to a winning position, and just barely at the end taking what they needed to find. With that being said, our next map and mode is going to be Tower Control on Inkblot Art Academy. I believe I like Inkblot. It's a much smaller map from what I remember, and it allows for a lot of interesting play. You can get in their back lines of their spawns really easily and set up a really nice cycle where you're just sitting there picking, and if they don't come back to fight you, the people that are respawning are going to end up staggered. They're going to end up taking 1v1s, and if you're a better 1v1 weapon, or if you're the better player, you're just going to win those every time. And if you can keep doing that, you're basically taking 2 of their team members just out constantly. Not really as much will you see that in Tower Control, but I do like Inkblot as a whole because it's a smaller, faster-paced map. Don't know exactly when we are going to be getting into this, but it could be basically any moment now. We are kind of just waiting on the teams. Looks like we have teams set up and ready. I'm going to take a sip of nondescript brown liquid while I have a good chance to. Holy comeback indeed. We love the Neumont A team comebacks. They are definitely a team of grinders. They really do manage to just push and push and push and eventually find their way through. That's not always the case. Sometimes they do manage to find their way in and take a massive advantage off the bat. Sometimes they find their way in and win. We love to see that too. We are just waiting for one person from Gutstown. We will get into that Tower Control Inkblot Art Academy map. For those that might not be well versed in Splatoon, Tower Control is your basic payload game mode from any hero shooter that you might see. It's basically payload or push, I believe Overwatch calls it. You have a payload in the middle of the map. You'll push it towards either side by standing on or in most other games near it. And as it pushes, it'll break through checkpoints. As it breaks through checkpoints, you eventually see it make its way all the way over to their spawn. It doesn't get all the way there. Whoever has the most points at the end wins. Immediately, Albie goes down. Raze is caught out in a pretty bad position there. As we find another person down, our blaster goes down. We do manage to find one of them, but a third person from Neumont goes down as they immediately break through our first checkpoint. This is a bad position for Neumont to be in. Neumont's comp is kind of a little bit worse for playing into this on this smaller map. We saw how Neumont was having difficulties with the 1v1s before. That's definitely going to be a lot harder on this map where it's just so much smaller. They have so much more area to really find a denial on Neumont and just can absolutely take advantage of that. Saw them wipe Neumont there for a good second as Neumont finally finds the pick that they need to recapture there. Fireboy hopping down off there, trying to get back on the point. They do manage to. They have Soda down. Soda lets you respawn or jump basically instantly. So if you... Another wipeout from Cutstown with some big specials there as they break through the next checkpoint. Oftentimes, that second checkpoint can be considered the hardest one to break through. We see Cutstown kind of doing exactly what I was talking about. They're getting on these platforms. They're staggering Neumont as they push all the way to that last checkpoint there. Neumont is once again just in a bad position right off the bat here, as Cutstown has just taken a massive advantage and really forced Neumont into a bad position. We see Albie managing to find a pick there with the Crab acting as a distraction, but they can't really get out of their spawn to find stuff here. Albie managed to take out Corn. Stamper finds another one there. Tries to find that. Neumont finds a third as they are finally pushing into points of their own. Albie trying to do exactly what Cutstown had just done before, but cannot quite find it as they get killed in their backlines there. 2 down on Neumont. This blaster's really trying to put in the work, trying to find something here. But as Neumont just goes down, I'm not sure that they can do it. They do manage to stay on the point. We see at least one jump in there. I think Albie managed to live that jump. So they're trying to, once again, just get up here, get in these backlines. But with 3 people on them, I'm not sure that they'll be able to find much. They find one pick despite it being a 3v1. We see them pop whales. Can they find more out here? They're just living in the backlines, just not letting anything happen. They find yet another one in the backlines. No one's doing anything about them. This is exactly what got Cutstown their lead in the first place. Find a second, find a third. They're on a roll. They're on a hot streak as they have aura around themselves, giving them a nice advantage moving forward. They're hopping all the way in the back lines, finding yet another one for Neumont before finally going down. Neumont has found their way back up here. They have managed to push almost exactly to where Cutstown has pushed before, with Albie just finding those picks after picks after picks for Neumont. Bringing it back to a fairly close game. Neumont just needs a little bit more to find a lead here. We have Crab. We're popping it on the point. As long as we can keep this Crab up and on the point, we will be fine, but it doesn't look like we can, as our splatter shot, that is not what that is. I cannot remember the name of this weapon for the life of me. I apologize. As our weapon that I can't remember the name of, it was our only remaining person. We are 1 for 1. Albie once again is trying to get back, trying to find all of these people. Managed to find one. Manages to just barely not find the second one. They pick off Albie just barely before they managed to find that kill. Cutstown is repushing. Now Neumont needs to find an advantage here. They cannot let Cutstown repush. They cannot let them have this advantage moving into a minute left in the game. Albie managed to go in, find one, but it's just a 1 for 1 there as Cutstown goes in and finds 3. It's just 1 from Neumont versus the world here as they're trying to run and live, but it's hard. It's difficult work out here. They're popping their, not strikes, missiles, pentamissiles, as they don't find anyone with it. They do manage to get a pick off eventually in the end, as Neumont has 2 down on Cutstown. Albi hopping back in, 3 down on Cutstown. This is their chance to push forward, find an advantage. This is what they really need here. Albi takes out their dualies, pops killer whales, hops in and finds 2 more for another triple. What a wonderful play from Albi, but can Neumont capitalize on it? 1 goes down, the stamp comes out, manages to find yet another. The dualies go down to the stamp being thrown, finding 2 for Neumont here as they push and push and push, eventually taking a point advantage in the last 10 seconds of the game. Once again, Albi coming in, finding another 2, almost a third for Neumont in the end of that game once again. Cutstown gets a wipeout, but they are in a bad spot. They are going to have to find a miracle. A lot of plays here, maybe a wipeout to kill Neumont if they want to find this win, if they want to get this advantage, because they not only have to push all the way up, they have to find that checkpoint. All Neumont has to do is kill their tower rider and hop on for a second. Strikes pop out on tower, but they're down and Neumont hops on for game. Once again, an incredibly close game. Neumont just finding those big plays, those massive 3-man kills to take back those advantages. What a wonderful round from Neumont. Neumont was definitely at more of a disadvantage on that map, and they still, map and mode kind of, and they still managed to find a good strategy. They managed to find everything that they needed to make that work, and they made it work. They found those 3 kills. They found Albi in their backlines, finding 3 or 4 picks for free, and they just eventually rolled that into a victory. Like I said before, they might go down at first. They might take a second to get rolling, but when they roll, they start to snowball. They start to take and take and take. You give them an inch, they will find a mile. And that's exactly what we saw them do there. Going down into the next map and mode, let's go ahead and find out. It will be Rainmaker on Crab Leg Capital. I like to describe Rainmaker as sort of like a capture the flag game mode. You have a flag in the middle of the map. You take that flag, you have to pop a barrier around it. That barrier kills everyone that's very close to it. Whichever team popped it, paints a decent chunk of area around it. You then pick up the gun, because it will replace your weapon. You'll have a gun now, and you'll run to their checkpoints. You break through their checkpoint, it'll respawn the Rainmaker down. You got to pop it again. You run to the end of the game. You win. Whoever has the most at the end, assuming it goes to time, will be the winner. Rainmaker is a really interesting game mode because you kind of have to dedicate someone to pick up the Rainmaker. Usually it's your slower weapons because the Rainmaker has, I think, one of the slower walk and swim speeds of the weapons in this game. That being said, it is also kind of considered one of, if not the worst weapon in the game. You have to charge it to make it do anything, and it's a decent explosion on the ground if you can manage to get it out, but it is considered pretty bad. So generally, you'll have whoever your backliner is, maybe the Splatling gun for Neumont, or the, I cannot remember what it's called. I think it's the Splatter Shot, but I'm going to go Google weapon list, honestly. While I'm doing that, I can keep on yapping. We saw some big stuff come out from both Neumont and Cutstown there. Like I mentioned, I do feel like Cutstown had more of an advantage on that map. They just managed to let Neumont take them out, take and just find exactly what they needed. Splatling Stinger? No, it's not a Stinger. It's not a Umbrella. It's not a Splatana. Come on, just tell me the weapon. I'm looking for it. I swear. It might be considered Splatter Shot. I was right. Let's go. It's the Splatter Shot Pro FRZN is the one they were playing, according to the weapon list I just pulled up. Anyway, we are getting right into this. I believe that was their second win? That was their second. We're on the third round now. We are getting into this. Like I mentioned, we have that Rainmaker right there in the middle. You see that little bubble around it, that glowing bubble. It'll slowly paint with enemy colors, and if it pops, we see Nova go down to a 2 down on Neumont already, as Cutstown is going to look to roll this advantage into a nice win, but Albi has something to say about that. They managed to run in. They managed to find 1 or 2 picks there, pick up the Rainmaker for a second, and force it to respawn that barrier on it, making Cutstown take the time to pop, take the time to find their advantage once again. We see Neumont go 1 for 2 there with Cutstown, as they're going to slowly try to run this Rainmaker now. They have it, they run it up to the checkpoint, and they get it through. Once again, just Neumont already being put into a disadvantage. Not exactly what we like to see, but we keep on seeing them come back from this spot, so it's absolutely possible that they could come back from it once again. Cutstown picks up the Rainmaker once again as Neumont is trying to force their way forward, find something. We see Crab come out here. That's pretty good. Crab finds 2 there. Maybe the Blaster even found 2 there. Not quite sure exactly who did, but 2 go down on Cutstown, but there's still 2 down on Neumont, as that ends up managed to find 1 from Neumont despite being 2 down. His team being 2 down. Their team being 2 down. Neumont goes down once again as the Rainmaker is dropped. It looks like Cutstown is going to be the ones to pick it up. Once again, Albi coming in, trying to find the Rainmaker, trying to paint them out. Managed to find them maybe with a sub-weapon there. Every weapon has sub-weapons. That is the bomb. Pretty nice sub-weapon. Albi trying to sit here and find something. They do manage to find 1 from Cutstown there, as they are trying to find their way back and through, but Pancake comes in and kills them. Unfortunately for Neumont, they are now, no, not unfortunately, they find 2 more and manage to take down 3 from Cutstown, but it takes them a long time to get this Rainmaker up there and through the checkpoint. I do wonder why it took them so long. Maybe that last person from Cutstown was just right there and ready at the place. Albi is rushing behind, trying to find Pancake here, but they immediately flick to Albi, taking them out. Cutstown now at an advantage, given that Neumont just went 2 down once again, despite the respawns. Raze is sharking the Rainmaker here, trying to find a big play. Gets shot! They hop down and manage to find the Rainmaker. Wonderful shark from Raze there. Albi also trying to find their way in, trying to shark. You see Killer Whales come out, maybe trying to find nice pick. They do get 1. They almost get a second with Killer Whales. This Blaster comes in to try to clean up crew, and they manage to find it. This Rainmaker being carried up through the grates. Grates are probably the worst way of the 2 to try to take the Rainmaker unless you're at a heavy advantage. Neumont's taking the gamble, though, trying to find those big picks. They go 3 down. Unfortunately for them, they took the gamble, and it did not roll their color. Looks like it came out blue in that case. Neumont trying to regroup, trying to find a good chance to defend. Cutstown just trying to find some nice space. It's a lot harder on this bigger, more open map. They try to find the Crab. They do break Crab, but don't kill it there, I think. Not really sure that's how Crab works, but the Crab went down right as that ult came out. So that's how it works in my range. Ray's trying to paint out the Rainmaker here as Nova pops. Stamp managing to find 1. Gonna toss it towards the Rainmaker. Just barely misses Flower Boy there. They know they're somewhere over here. Pops 1, but does not manage to find the direct needed to kill that bucket. Neumont goes 3 down once again. It is just Ray's yet again out here. Our Blaster is trying to return as Cutstown needs to find some space. They're the ones at disadvantage this time, despite once again having that big push right off the bat. Neumont managed to just find a little bit more room. It's not that big of an advantage, though. Cutstown can find basically any decent push and find it. Our Blaster manages to take out the Rainmaker there as we go 3 for 3. Ray's trying to get in on this Rainmaker, trying to find them. We see Cutstown pick up the Rainmaker. Kind of an interesting thing when you're down players, but they do manage to make it work. They take out Raze there. Nova comes in and manages to find 1. They're going to try to find the Rainmaker here, but they're not really finding the damage they need. They do manage to, with Albi, find them, finding a 3rd there as well. Cutstown is respawned, however, so We managed to find yet another one. Stamp comes out and finds a second down for Neumont. A third down for Neumont. It is just RIT up on Cutstown as Neumont is just holding this Rainmaker back. They know if they just hold it for 5 more seconds, they will have game here. So that is exactly what they are doing. Good round. That makes it 3-0 Neumont to Cutstown, as this has been a good, nice game. We've seen a lot of close games there. I think that map was more favored towards Neumont's composition, so it makes sense that it was a lot less close this time. Do we get a fist bump? I already clicked off, so you guys don't get to see. We don't. I don't know if it shows me whether or not they fist bump, but I hope it does. I think it'd be cool if it showed me. Regardless, I believe our next and potentially final map and mode is going to be Clam Blitz Mako Mart. Clam is kind of hard to explain. It's kind of like basketball in that you have 2 hoops. And then you pick up clams, and when you get 8 of those clams, you make a ball. If you throw that ball into your enemy's hoop, it'll break it, and then you can throw regular clams or balls in. Balls are worth 20, regular clams are worth 3 each. If you do the math there, if you throw 8 clams in instead of a ball, it's technically worth more. Obviously, that's harder to do. Whenever you throw clams or balls in, it will put a timer up at the top. That's how long you have until their basket goes back up and relocks. And then a certain amount of time, it will actually come back out. Whenever that happens, we will go ahead and see gray points come out if it locks. And then, obviously, if you manage to get to 100 points, you will win the game. If you don't manage to get to 100 points, it is always whoever is in the lead. Gray points play a pretty big part of this game mode because oftentimes you're scoring relatively the exact same thing. So if you can manage to just get a little bit of a lead, those gray points will matter a chunk more. That being said, if you ever tie with your opponent, say you throw the exact same thing, it will put you 1 point behind them because whoever got it first deserves to win. Looks like we are getting in it. Let's go ahead and pull this up. Once again, it is match point for Neumont, as we are 3-0 so far in the first round of CCA playoffs. Getting into this game, it is basically the same comps from both sides. We see the NZAP. Actually, we see a brush coming out for Cutstown. Interesting to try to counter brush with brush. Very, very interesting indeed. We see Neumont trying to rush up, trying to find their way forward there. Not really working out well for them. Generally, you want to try to get clams on your backliners, but Neumont's backliners keep going down. They only have 3 clams up. They are definitely behind in economy here, setting Cutstown up for a big lead if they can just find a ball here. They have 2 people with almost a ball. They have 1 ball. They have 2 balls. Can they get a ball in? They find 1 ball. They find 2 balls. They find like 3 or 4 clams. Pretty big start there. Almost over half of their point total gone immediately from Neumont. Once again, we've seen this every game. Neumont goes down basically right away. They take a second to get into this game. They take a second to find what they need to find. Nova trying to find something here. Managed to find 2 before getting picked themselves. It is a 2 for 2, but our brush respawns first as Raze also goes down, making us down to their players. Neumont managed to rush in and find a ball on the point, but they're not going to find many clams off of it unless this blaster can find something big. Doesn't look like they can. So like I mentioned, those gray points are kind of big here. Because Neumont didn't score a bunch, they're going to have basically half a clam's worth of points the next time that they score. A blaster comes in, managed to find 1, trying to loop around and find someone over there, but there is not someone chilling over there right now before they go down. Neumont has a ball up on our splatter shot as our brush also goes down. we have our backliner over here picking up the ball, managing to save it from going down, but they're getting whaled. They do just barely manage to win, live whales. Albie and our Blaster are just, again, trying to find some nice picks, trying to get people down. It's just so hard. They pop Stamp. They manage to find one, and it's clear, but they cannot get Rays in on time as they get jumped by the bucket. They manage to take the bucket down, but Neumont is 3 down once again, and it looks like they are going to lose the ball they had. Touchdown still have not picked up their pity ball. So it's kind of just chilling back there in their spawn. It seems like they're not trying to play around it. Not too much, at least. Neumont is kind of staggering here. They just keep going down in their spawns. They're not finding the people that are taking them out over and over again. 2 down on Neumont once again. 3 down on Neumont as Cutstown is going to find a ball and maybe a chunk of clams here. Once again, just furthering their lead. This might be the first Cutstown win we see this time. It's going to be really interesting. We see almost a wipe there from Cutstown. We do see a wipe from Cutstown as they just keep on scoring these clams. They're taking their time. They're making sure to delay the clock. They want to find as many clams as they can before they get in. They are 9 points. That is 3 clams away. Cutstown has a ball. They have that pity, but it's thrown on the platform as they miss it. They do just manage to get the clams in on time, leaving it as a win for Cutstown. Not quite a Neumont sweep this time. I feel like Neumont kind of got in their heads there. They did not play nearly as well as we had seen them playing on those last game modes. They were not finding what they needed. They were starting to stagger. They weren't having necessarily the best communication as they kept getting picked by the same stuff. That being said, our next map and mode will be Splat Zones Umami Ruins. Reminder, it is still match point for Neumont here. If Neumont can find the victory on any of these remaining matches, rounds, it will be match for Neumont. They will have won the set. We should be getting into this anytime now. I'm just kind of waiting for them to set up teams and ready up. Umami Ruins is a pretty interesting Splat Zones map. The last one we saw was a single zone Splat Zones map. That means there is one zone you have to worry about painting. Umami is a 2-zone Splat Zones map, which means not only do you have to control both zones to get points, but if one zone flips, you stop earning points. So it's a lot easier to flip the zone. It's a lot easier to get it to neutral, but it's also a lot harder to get it to your color because you have to paint 2 full zones to get it to your color. That means it's really easy to stall this one, and oftentimes I've seen it go to time if one team is not just entirely dominated. That being said, what do we really want to see from Neumont here? I want to see better communication. They shouldn't be falling for the same things from Cutstown. That's their name. They shouldn't be falling for these same things from Cutstown. We saw their Brush and Bucket kind of just get into Neumont's backlines and take them out from spawn over and over again. Neumont just running a person into 2 a number of times until eventually they just go down. Hey, we're at 10 viewers. Eric, where are you at? I don't know if Eric's actually here, but Eric has made a dedicated promise for this season to anytime we hit 2 viewers and he's here, gift a sub. We are getting into this now. Like I mentioned, we have those 2 zones here. I can swap between them, actually, which is kind of cool. Again, you have to paint both if you want to start scoring points. And it looks like Cutstown almost gets both there, but Neumont does manage to flip them. As I said, it's a lot easier to get these zones to neutral, considering getting them to half is a lot easier. They're smaller zones, given that there are 2. But, yeah. Neumont managed to rush forward. They managed to find a good pick on the arrow spray there, as Cutstown is kind of being forced back into their spawn. This is a really good brush map. This is a map that I feel like Neumont can kind of lock them out on if they can find the plays that we need them to find. Albi is just sitting on their hill here, but the bucket comes in, tries to find Albi. Albi just barely managing to live and kill them out. Trying to go in on Pancake, does not quite find it, goes down themselves. Aeolus not quite finding it in time to save Raze there. They attempt to repaint that zone. Once again, it is still neutral because Neumont controls one of the zones despite the fact that Touchdown controls one. As long as they don't flip. Okay, they do. Eventually, Neumont gets flipped and gets the gray points. Kind of want to see them back here as they regroup and try to come in. You see Albi pop Killer Whales as Albi and the Blaster are trying to work their way in. Blaster finds one on Flower Boy, pops Stamp, gonna try to paint that zone, does not quite find enough on it, but does find a wipeout with Albi there. Just wonderful plays, managing to find everyone off of that Stamp. The big distraction for Albi, just absolutely making space for a nice chunk of picks there. Neumont is working their way through all of those gray points. We see Killer Whales come out as it pings all of Cutstown. Neumont gets reefed, finding a pick as Albi tries to paint zone, but gets caught in a in a booyah as we see 3 specials come out from Cutstown, just absolutely instantly painting those zones. Once again, giving Neumont a chunk of gray points. Cutstown is working through their gray points right now as they have once again started scoring. If they can just get it below Neumont, Neumont will be in kind of a tough position given they will have all of those gray points to get through. Again, it is really easy to stall if you can get out on the point, but we see Neumont get caught in another ultimate there. Albi rushes behind, finds 3. Can they find the last one? They just barely cannot, but another big 3-pick for Neumont there. Cutstown still finds the lead despite it, unfortunately for Neumont. Had Neumont just lived a little bit more, they might have stopped Cutstown from getting the lead there. I do think that they'll get through their gray points, so it won't be that big of an issue, but that could have been a much bigger play for Neumont here. Cutstown once again just hopping in and immediately painting one of the points. Getting back, finding Aeolus, that's one of Neumont's bigger painters. 2 down on Cutstown, they pop Booyah. And once again, just trying to keep control of these points through oppressive specials. Neumont just immediately repainting though, keeping up, making sure that Cutstown cannot have survivors. Cutstown again just painting that point so fast. Reef coming out, immediately painting it again. Neumont immediately painting it back. It just flips back and forth and back and forth. But it's still in Neumont's control. They are down to 28. This is looking like a tough match for Cutstown as Neumont has a strong lead. They're down to 15. If they can just hold it a little bit longer here, they'll have something big. We see Booyah coming out from Cutstown, managing to paint one of those points. They're trying to get on the other and paint it as well, but they do not manage to keep control of either. It just keeps on flipping and flipping. This splatter shot, managing to keep it up for as long as possible. With a minute left, they do manage to get it. 7 points left for Neumont. As long as they can take control, they will be in a really good position here. Cutstown basically has to hold it for the rest. Not quite the rest. The majority of the remainder of the game if they want to take lead. But that's really hard on this map, as I mentioned, because getting it to stall takes almost no amount of paint. It's like 2 sub-weapons and it's painted. We see missiles coming out. That's going to be a lot of paint for Neumont as they are trying to recapture this zone. They're going to find the jump too. Unfortunately for Neumont, they find a wipe on Neumont. Exactly what Cutstown wanted to find here to make the comeback. 26 left. Neumont needs to find something big here, but they are not even really close to their specials. 18, 17, 16, 15. They need to paint one of these zones. They cannot let Cutstown have the lead. 9-8. They do manage to stall. They find paint on both zones, giving Cutstown the gray points. As I think that is going to be a win for Neumont. There's nothing Cutstown can do. 1 second left on the clock as Neumont right at the end there with 8 points on Cutstown. Had they held it for a second or 2 more, they would have found lead. Managed to take Cutstown out by a single point. Close game after close game. I love to see it. We love to see those games from both sides of the spectrum. That being said, wonderful time from both teams. Good games to Neumont, good games to Cutstown. We saw so many good plays. We saw Albi find at least 4 3Ks that set. Just insane. Albie's really good on a brush, but you don't find brushes finding 3Ks just almost every round like that. I think it was all but one round they found at least a 3K. That being said, also great play from the Blaster. The Blaster had a couple of good times where they caught Cutstown lacking and found a direct on 2 or 3 of them, and if not a direct, one off. A direct on like 2 of them, and then area on the 3rd. All of that being said, GG's to both sides. I think that is game. I could be wrong. Short break. I am wrong? How many games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry. Apparently I had the wrong list. Holy moly. It is a 9 set now. At least according to the thing. So Cutstown is not out of it. Okay, let's go. 7, 8, 9. That means it is a best of 5. I've been feeding y'all the wrong information this entire stream. I do apologize. I miscounted the number of sets. I didn't know that playoffs were an extra round. Good to know for the future. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. All right. Looks like our next map and mode will then be Tower Control on Ship-Shaped Cargo. Tower Control is the one game mode that Neumont has lost so far. Once again, so sorry for feeding y'all the wrong information there. That is entirely on me. I just did not count right. I was very off. I should also quickly go over and fix that on this if I can. Oh, it's already fixed on that. That's nice. That's nice. Half of the time... Okay, why is it different on both of these? That upsets me. I'm fixing that right now. Apologies for the scuffedness. Looks like we are getting ready for the game right now. We are seeing Tower Control on Ship Shape, as I mentioned just a second ago. Again, apologies for saying that Cutstown was down and out. They are not. They could absolutely make the reverse 4-1. Neumont lost on Tower Control before. It's going to be really interesting to see how... Was it Tower Control? No, they won on Tower Control. They lost on Clams before. It was really close on Tower Control before because Cutstown managed to just get in, find their way into the backlines. That's a lot harder to do on Ship Shape. It is a significantly bigger map. So it's a lot harder to find those back plays because if you do go down, you cannot just get right back into the action. They sweep this trust. Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, it is a lot harder to get back down into the action because you just have so much further to run if you are the only person in Neumont's backlines. That being said, there is a pretty good spot to camp back there, considering you have a ramp that leads up to a platform that's kind of hard to access outside of that ramp. And if you're up there and you have a good weapon that can kind of hit around walls, like a bucket, we could see a bucket coming out. Or if you have a weapon with decent fall off, you can kind of camp that ramp. You can find a nice spot. And even if they do run up on you, if you're that brush, you can just run out. It's great. So if you're a brush, you can run out much faster than they can chase you. Going to be interesting to see that from either end. We are, in fact, taking a short break, according to the captain of the Splatoon team, Albie, there. Given we're taking a short break, I do want to talk a little bit more about some of these great plays we've been seeing. I think Cutstown has been playing wonderfully around their specials. We saw them get a wipeout in the Tower Control game mode at the start with specials, basically primarily. They found, I think, 3 off specials, 1 off of normal kills, which is just insane. You don't see teams play that hard around specials. During that Spot Zones map, we also just saw them insta-sweep and pop both points at the same time by coordinating their specials really well. Had they managed to do that right at the end or a little bit more earlier, they absolutely could have found those 2 extra points and brought it to a much harder game for Neumont to win there. I wish these headphones were not as tight as they are. They are hurting my head. Whales on ship shape is a wild thing. They do go across the entire map and just and they'll move so fast if you're targeting someone so far away. And this is free for Albi. We saw them play the same brush before. They could play a brush too. You never know. You never know. I hope it's free for Albi because then I get to go gamble some more. We have a gambling event downstairs. I think it's over now. But it would be a lot of fun to see if it is still up and if I could still go gamble. I doubt it, though. I doubt it. Looks like we are readying up. 18 seconds left. It is just the 2 members of Cutstown we are waiting for. Going to be really interesting to see how this next game mode goes. It is 4-1. Now it is match point because a set of 9 is first to 5. And then you declare the victor. Jingle, jingle. We see basically the exact same comp from Neumont. If it is swaps for specials and things, and I don't know all the weapons for that. We see a NZAP, bucket, dualies, and splatling gun from Cutstown. It'll be really interesting to see if Cutstown can find a nice early lead like they've been trying to do. Aeolus hops on the point, but immediately gets forced off. Our blaster goes down and as we are 2 for 2. Raze is trying to find something, but it's just our 2 longer range people left. As the NZAP goes in and finds a nice double kill on Neumont there, popping down Soda on the tower. Whales coming out from Neumont here, but this NZAP is just playing out of their mind. They're hopping down. They find yet another pick on Neumont, throwing out their sub-weapon there, hopping back on the tower, making sure it's reset, not getting pushed back. They find another one on Aeolus and one on the drop. That is so many kills in a row for that NZAP as Neumont finally kind of, no, not even kind of. They're getting forced back to their spawn like I mentioned before. Albi's trying to come out and find something, but they cannot. Those whales move just a little bit too slowly as Neumont does manage to backcap this point, I believe. No, sorry, Albi was in their spawn. I had it flipped. That's on me. That's on me. We do see Albi try to go in and find something there, but cannot quite get it. We see the blaster coming in, and they find one. They try to find another, but they get called out by Pancake and found. Albi trying to rush in, trying to find something. Hops up on these grates. Hops all the way up over here. Cannot find it. Hopefully not dying to that right there. Unfortunately, they find nothing with that as Nova managed to find a jump out on, managed to find someone trying to jump out on them. Find Flower Boy 2 down on, Cutstown. Albi finds Pancake over there, 2 down, 2 for 1 there from Neumont to Cutstown. We see the point being recaptured. We see Nova all the way up along with our splatter shot, trying to get this a nice position for this blaster. They try to rush down the middle there. I did not think that was the play there from Neumont as they go 2 down, 3 down. They do manage to get the tower to that last checkpoint there and break through a little portion of it. This is going to be a tough match for Cutstown to push all the way up and through to there, especially given they don't have that first checkpoint. Pancake trying to find their way in, trying to find a pick. They do manage to find Raze here, as those Tentamissiles don't manage to get enough value out for Neumont. You see the killer whales come out and find one there for Cutstown. Pancake and Flower Boy are the 2 on this point here. Kind of interesting. Where is the NZAP? The NZAP is pulling out around. This NZAP is definitely interesting for sure. We see a Reef Slider come out, but it ends up only finding 1, maybe, if even. Neumont pops Crab and manages to find 3 from Cutstown. A good chance to force them back and off of this point. 1:45 left on the clock. Cutstown still has a decent chunk of points to go if they want to take lead back from Neumont. And with 1:30 left on the clock and the point being in their side, it's definitely going to be a tough game. Albi managed to find 1 in their backlines there as our blaster does go down. Albie getting low off of all of these sub-weapons here, trying not to go down. We do see them pop killer whales once again. Can they find anything with it? They do manage to find 2 off of those killer whales, but Neumont is 3 down. They just have this splatter shot trying to run around and not die. Albie trying to find their way back in, trying to get around and find something here. They do try to back off. Pancake, can they find Pancake? They cannot. 2 down on Neumont, 3 down on Neumont. This is Cutstown's chance to find a lead here. If they can just find this last person from Neumont, they can absolutely take it and roll with it. Can they do it? 37, 36, 35. We see Neumont come back. The blaster hops on point. They take out half of Cutstown, but it's not enough. Cutstown, 25. Find a wipeout on Neumont. They take the lead. With 30 seconds left on the clock, they break through the checkpoint. Can they find the last little bit of what they need to win the game here? It looks like it, as they do. They roll through with that wipeout, taking another game. Cutstown now making it 4-2, making Neumont start to shake in their boots a little bit. Definitely putting the scare on them. I blame. I'm not sure how to say that. Arcade Thing. I blame Arcade Thing for saying this was free for Albie. It was a mistake. It was a mistake to say that it's free for Albie. Yeah, that brings us to 4-2. Neumont is still on match point. Cutstown would have to win 3 more in a row to take this here. Our next map and mode are going to be Rainmaker Robo Ramen. I'm not sure if I'd call Robo Ramen a small map, but it feels small because a lot of the map is off to the side. So you don't often see people going there unless they're trying to find a weird like side play or something. Or if they're trying to run from the center off to safety. That being said, it's absolutely has opportunity to be played like a big map. It's a weird map. It's a weird map, I'll give you that. There's 2 ways to approach the spawn / leave the spawn. So if you're getting camped one way, you can go the other way. If you're getting camped the other way, you can go one way. You're almost never getting camped the other way. Outside of that, it's a fairly large zone, so it's kind of hard to flip or stall. So if you get an advantage, it's a lot more likely that you'll keep running that advantage until the other team finds a big play to get you off of that point. Which means that I feel like this map favors Cutstown the way that Cutstown has been playing this game. They tend to be better at finding the early advantage, finding those big picks, finding those consistent plays afterward. Arcade Thing. Yeah, I see that now. Yeah. Oh, Rainmaker. Oh, yeah. I thought it was... I don't know why I'm talking about splat zones. We're playing Rainmaker out here. Yeah, Rainmaker, I think this is even more favored towards Cutstown, but Neumont immediately proving me wrong. They find a wipeout off the bat and run it through Cutstown's first checkpoint. If they can just get in, find Cutstown here, find another wipe, they can absolutely just roll this to the end. We see whales coming out from Cutstown as Albie's trying to dodge them all, but does end up running into the whale there. We see 2 specials up and ready from Neumont. We see Tentamissiles pop on the Rainmaker there as they're running to the other checkpoint. That checkpoint is not the most common one to run it to because it's kind of hard to run it from that one anywhere else. We do see Rainmaker pop from Pancake there as they're running it all the way up that second area there as they take the early... Shh, we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. You saw all of that, guys. Trust me. Trust me. As I was yapping about, while you guys could totally see on stream exactly what was going on, Neumont found a wipeout. Cutstown managed to come back, managed to bring it to the alternate checkpoint, not the like mainline one, but the one where you hop down there, and then run it up onto that second area just a little bit. And then they found a wipeout on Neumont just now, taking the checkpoint a little bit further. Sorry to have not shown you all of that. That really sucks. Yeah, Cutstown just finds a win here as they wipe out Neumont once again. I am so sorry. That was the most scuffed round of Splatoon I think I have ever casted. Sorry. I'm sorry. Cutstown finds yet another win. I believe... Is that... Okay. If they find 2 more wins in a row, they can win it here. I did say that I felt like that was a Cutstown favored map, and we absolutely saw that. When Cutstown started winning, they kind of just forced Neumont back and back. When Neumont tried to do the same thing, they kind of just got wiped by Cutstown, which is exactly how we've been seeing it go. It's just Neumont can find big plays from the backlines if they can get there, which you can't really do on Robo Ramen, as I was talking about initially. Once again, I am so sorry for that. That is the most scuffed round of Splatoon I think I've ever casted. Didn't show the game for more than half of it. Wonderful, wonderful. I'll make sure to show this one and the last one. Sorry I didn't show that one. We are getting right into it. Once again, it will be Clam Blitz on Scorch Gorge. Scorch Gorge is a map that favors things like buckets, like fall-off weapons, so I do feel like, once again, this could be a Cutstown favored map. We do see... Am I wrong? Is it not? No, it's Clam Blitz Scorch Gorge. I do wonder why they, why they stopped it. Yeah, 2 wipeouts in a row, definitely a yikes last round. Don't know why we had to pause that one. I do need to take a sip of Indescript Brown Liquid. I have been yapping a little bit too long in a row. I expected this to end a little bit sooner. I think you can hear it in my voice. I yapped myself more than I should have. And I would have been right to, had it ended when I thought it was gonna. Holy reverse sweep indeed. They have been pushing and pushing and pushing. I called Neumont a set of grinders from the download. They're the underdog. They love to come back from a low score, but clearly I was wrong. Cutstown over here playing the long game, playing the Ace Attorney. Have you seen their picture? If you haven't, look at it next time. I think they're on this side. Look at it next time. It's Ma and Order, and it's Objection. Playing it like an Ace Attorney game. We're hitting Act 3 here, and Mr. Phoenix Wright himself is coming right back. He's finding all of the evidence. He's pointing out all the flaws in our enemies' mistakes. Objection, Your Honor. I think I can do this. Objection. I'm better. I'm him. Neumont needs to lock in mental reset for real. Yeah, I agree, Atticus. Absolutely. They're definitely starting to get into their own heads as Cutstown is winning more and more. Neumont is used to these sweeps. They sweeped basically every game of the playoffs. So now that it's not a sweep, they're definitely shaking in their boots. It's playoffs. They lose this, they're out. That's not good news. That being said, we will be getting into this any time now, as we are just waiting for one more from Cutstown to ready up. I do wonder why we got a pause there, reset or whatever. Neumont definitely needs the mental reset. They did not. They staggered. They staggered. They let Cutstown get them on some big plays. They let them get a wipe, and then they let them get another wipe. That should not be happening, especially when we have so much more range than them. Yeah, Cutstown massively changed their comp. That sucks. We see Spider Shot, Brush, Dualies, and Splatling. I guess don't take advantage of the Albie needs more 3Ks for real. Don't take advantage of the bucket and fall off weapon thing that I was mentioning. Not Neumont. Okay, there's too many brushes now. I have 2 brushes to watch. Cutstown has a ball up. They have their brush up. As long as they can find some nice picks on Neumont, they will be left in a really good position here. Neumont can't take advantage of their range nearly as much anymore because Cutstown has the same range, essentially. I think Neumont might have a little bit more. Not 100% confident either way. Neumont does manage to take down some of Cutstown as they get a ball in pretty early. We see Crab Tank coming out here trying to defend this goal as they're distracting Cutstown as we score 3 more clams, taking it down to 68 instead of 80 there. Cutstown pushing their way back forward, trying to find a reverse cap as the barriers fall back down. Pancake trying to rush up on the platform here. They definitely have the economy to form a ball and a half here, but they cannot quite find anything off of it. They get a ball. We see a big reef slider from Cutstown as they find 3 from Neumont off of it, immediately running in and scoring a ball. But Albie from Neumont just comes in, manages to take down 1. They find a clam. They're finding a jump. Can they find some more here? They cannot off of that jump as everyone goes down. They lose that pity ball as they are out of that push. We see Gray Points coming in here. Those could play some pretty big aspects here. We see Stamp coming out with a ball there. Pop and Stamp in a weird place. You gotta pop Stamp earlier than that if you want it to work out well. Neumont is 2, essentially 3 down, considering they have 1 on respawn right now. As they go another 2 down, we see Crab coming out, trying to defend this point as much as possible. We see Albie coming in, picking up that ball there, managing to force Cutstown back as they only have the econ for 1 ball. Albie tosses the ball. Hopefully someone can pick that up. Trying to find a pick on their ball, potentially. Or just run behind. Fair enough. Not exactly the safest play. They're trying to run. They're trying to live. But we do see our ball carrier go out and down. Albie picks it up and manages to run out of the way. Aeolus trying to run up here. Albie shuts down the reef slider. Big shutdown for Albie there as Neumont is doing a wonderful job defending. Cutstown does manage to get a ball in, taking the lead as Neumont cannot run behind and find the picks that they need. Cutstown gets a couple of spare clams in. We are just sitting here resetting the ball, trying to get our people back in. We need to find some big plays. We need Albie to find those 3Ks like chat was saying. We need a big picks here. Albie finds 1, but Neumont goes 2 down. I'm not even sure that Albie found 1 there. I might have seen been hallucinating. Neumont once again has 2 balls. As long as they can find something, they can get a decent chunk of points here. We see the Stamp into immediate toss. Does not quite find anyone. Blaster in danger, gonna go down. Albie also managed to live that despite having 2 people aiming at her. Albie picks up a ball and just runs it straight up to the point. They try to toss another ball up to Albie, but it does not quite work out for them. We see our Blaster come in, finding 2. Can they find anything off of that, though? I don't think Aeolus can get the ball in time as they just do not have the paint to kill. Neumont is still behind despite scoring a ball there. And now Cutstown has 3 balls, given that they have that pity ball. Whew. I am definitely yapping myself out of this position. Christ. Not Christ, sorry. Chimney. I'll be trying to rush in and get something here. They do manage to find Pancake on the platform there. Big pick for Albie. Trying to run in, find another. They do manage to get another. Given all of these massive missiles, they get a lot of paint on them as the Blaster comes in as a cleanup crew, managing to pick everyone that's remaining. Neumont just does not have the econ here, though, as they get wiped. We are going to see some respawns from Neumont before Cutstown can get in here, but can Albie find the ball carriers? That's the real question. They do manage to find Pancake on the tower there.
Cutstown is 3 down once again. Neumont just needs some clams here, and they can secure an even stronger lead. They can secure the game if they can get on platform with some clams. They take down another one from Cutstown. Almost another, but Albie goes down without forming a ball. It goes to overtime for Cutstown, and they're in a bad position. They have to find their way in through all of Neumont. Neumont doesn't have any specials to work with, though. Cutstown isn't close to them either. This is just hard for them to push in and through, but if they can find it, they just need the ball. They do manage to take 2 for 2, as long as they can get the ball in, and one more clam. They don't find it, though. That last person, that last clam, that decides the game. Wonderful, wonderful time from both sides as Neumont finds that win once again by 1 point. Every round we saw Neumont win was a close one. Absolutely wonderful play from both sides, as everyone was just putting their heart and soul into that game. You could feel how much both teams absolutely wanted that win. With all of that being said, my voice is leaving me by the second. I don't really have much more for you all. I was keeping it alive, but I believe that is game. So I will be calling it a night here.